What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Lineage Break, a Grand Archive TCG podcast. I am your host, Cam. With me, as always, is the glue, Steve.
Hi, Cam.
Hi, Steven.
Cam, you were gone last week.
Yeah, I know. I still feel awful.
We now film a live show, and you were gone last weekend. And we had promised them that we would be back that Friday.
I forgot. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm actually away this weekend.
I literally text him Thursday night, and I was like, "Hey, Cam, we shouldn't pod," and he was like, "No," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, if I can tell you one thing, Steven, I would have much rather been here, you know, to shoot the podcast, to play at locals.
Yeah.
But last weekend I was at a convention vending for Good Old Webway Games, our LGS that I work for. So I was gone all weekend vending at a convention, so it meant that we couldn't shoot the podcast, and I had a nice 100-hour work week, and I feel like I'm dying just a little bit.
Same.
I don't feel sick per se, but maybe I am, so I'm sorry when I give you COVID.
That's fine.
I felt like this for like 5 days now, so I think I might just be dying.
I dodged COVID once this year, so...
Yeah, it's like the last round of it has been pretty mild as far as symptoms go, which is nice. But we are back. But most importantly, first of all, we are live. Thank you, everybody who is watching the show live on the YouTubes. If you also want to watch the show live and you're watching this later on YouTube, whenever it is that it comes out, so here's my plan. I'm putting my foot down.
Foot is down.
As of next week. Here is my plan for you and for you and for you. We shoot the podcast live on YouTube every Friday, every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Correct. Sometimes Eastern Daylight Time. I am going to plan to put up the previous week's episode at like 2 p.m. Friday, Eastern Standard Time, sometimes Eastern Daylight Time. So next week, this one will be up after the next show. So then people can get into the rigmarole that, you know, show's live at noon, last week's is up at 2. That's going to be my plan. I'm going to try real hard to stick to it. Because I know, you all know, that I am very bad. What are they going to do at regionals Friday before? I don't know. We'll do something. We'll do the show. It'll be here. We'll do something fancy. I got some grandiose plans for good old Northeast regionals. Because last year,
this is nationals.
Nationals. Yeah, regionals are coming up, right?
Yes.
And last season, I didn't have like a long run up for regionals. You know, they sort of just like jumped on top of me, and it was like, it's in 3 weeks. I have a couple of months to do some planning. We're gonna make Northeast regionals real nice this year, Steven. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, interesting.
Little elbow here,
little elbow action. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm working on some stuff. So most importantly, we are here in our normal studio. We are, however, not in Ontario, California.
You know, it almost feels like Ontario, California out there today. It's a little warm.
It's a little warm.
I think it's 40 degrees, so.
Yeah, just none of our friends are there.
Yeah.
It looks bleak, and there's potholes in every road. And,
yeah, my car is broken.
And the car is breaking down. So this weekend in Ontario, California, we got to stress that one, is Ascent Ontario, our third Ascent event. And we talked a lot about Houston. I think that was probably because we were in the run-up where there wasn't really anything to talk about in GA, because that was like pre-altar launch. We're like, hey, we're going to this event. You guys want to talk about this event for 6 weeks in a row? But we really haven't talked about Ontario, partly because we're trying to stave off the depression that we aren't there. Yeah. But this week we're going to talk about Ascent Ontario. We're going to go over what the schedule is going to look like, talk about some cool side events that they're doing. And most importantly, we didn't have a whole lot of time this morning. We were running a little bit late. Didn't really have time to talk to Steven here about what we're talking about, so we're doing it right now. What I think we should do is make some bold, grandiose predictions about what decks are going to perform this weekend, so that we can be wrong. We can, if you want. It's maybe a little bit more targeted, but chat, let us know if this is something that you want us to do. We can call out people by name if you want to. I would like to put this caveat out here, and I will mention it again once we get deeper into the episode. We know some people, and I don't mean that in a like, oh, look at all my clout. We know some people. However, I want it to be very clear, since this is a live show, before the event, we don't know what anybody is playing. So if we make any allusions to any person playing any sort of deck or whatever, we're just spitballing. I literally promise you I have no real information. So nobody use this to, be
the
like,
only real
I'm
information
scouting.
The only real information we have is that Trengon of Lineage Break
is playing
on
Sylvie.
Sylvie.
Yeah, 100%. If you see him, he will be playing Sylvie.
And if he's not, he's a coward.
He's a coward. Yeah, that is true. Here's your leak. All right, the leak for everybody that's playing in the tournament tomorrow. I know that he has it with him. I know that the Sylvie CURs are in tow. That is all I know. I know that they're in his backpack.
Surely, if you own the full set of Sylvie CURs, you don't leave home without them.
He's got like little 99-cent price stickers on them too, which is really
does he?
It's really tough. I price gunned them myself. I got the price gun out. It was like 99 cents, and they're all. I think on the like starter deck level 3, it's just right on her face. It's really bad. So let's talk a little bit about Ascent Ontario. I would like to give a huge shout out to our friends Shinja and Ken and all of the team at TM32 for putting on the event. Hopefully we get this more over the weekend, but like, that's a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
They're doing a whole production, they're running the whole event, and I don't hear enough praise for our friends running the event, because that is a hell of a lot of work. So
I love that.
Big shout out to Shinja and Ken and all the boys at TM32.
Yeah. They really put in the work for Grand Archive to make it so we can enjoy it.
Yeah, we are very excited, Steve and I, to watch coverage tomorrow. Again, anyone who is watching the show live coverage for Ascent Ontario is going to be on the TM32 YouTube channel starting at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, which is 9:30 Pacific Time, wherever you are. And we're going to be watching all weekend. I can't wait. I heard from the Discord that they're also, thank God, thank you, production team, going to be streaming the closing ceremony, I think.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is great, because we got a real botched video of it last time. And like, obviously we're going to get all of the news and stuff from it pretty quickly. People will be like taking, pictures, but I'm a big fan of the
official live stream.
Yeah, like the event, right? It's like whenever you remember E3, rest in peace.
Yeah.
I would never watch, or I would never go to the article and read all the things that were announced. Even if I missed it, I would come home from work and I would watch the entire press conference, because I think that the presentation is really fun. So I'm excited to watch the thing. Shinja confirming he has intentions of streaming the keynote after day 2. And I hope that works out, because I really want to watch it. Okay, so Ascent Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Big Path of Steel event. No Path of Silver
for
this
event.
Silver.
No.
They did announce a while ago that Path of Silver is going to be like a once per set thing. And I think this is, at least the Path of Silver for ALC is going to be at Worlds.
Right.
But it is, as far as I know, a much larger event than Houston. I hear that the venue is 4 times the size of the one that was in Houston, which is crazy. And we have some friends coming down. We'll talk about our cursed predictions later. They're doing some cool side events at Ontario too.
They are.
There's I scrubbed out of the main event Path of Steel event on Sunday that's awarding a full first edition case of Dawn of Ashes, which is pretty crazy.
Okay. So, yeah, first edition Dawn of Ashes is great. I'm glad that still exists in the world. However, the other first place prize is the bread and butter because I fucking love it. I love it so much. And those are jumbo cards.
Yeah.
I love jumbo cards. I think it's the coolest thing that any card game did. Like Yu-Gi-Oh!
I think they're so cool. Yeah.
Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Did that shit like all of the time back in the day, and then I think Magic started doing it.
Yeah,
recently.
Flesh and Blood does it at every event.
Flesh and Blood does
jumbo
it. Like,
cards. Yeah.
I love jumbo cards because they're so
cool.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Like and like you know, if you fly somewhere, obviously it's a pain in the ass to get them home.
Right.
But they look so cool.
Yeah, I want one so bad. I am thrilled that the one this weekend is Merlin, which is very cool.
Yeah, no,
But-
it's Merlin B too, which is great.
But I couldn't give a shit. If that was if that was a like an Arisana jumbo card, I would be killing people. But yeah, we haven't seen it yet. We don't know how big it is. But if I know those people over there, I think it's a big one. I like the Flesh and Blood ones are like yay tall, which is hard for you guys to gauge. But we are sitting. They're like 3 feet tall cards. Yeah. I assume probably the same thing. They're also there's one each day in the Ascent store. The jumbo card for Merlin. So there'll be 4 total. No, 3 total? I don't know if they're doing one on Friday. So 3 total maybe. Jumbo cards given out. But those are super cool. Yeah, I was talking to Trevor last night, and he was like, I was talking about this event and how great the prize sport is. Like first place, I was like, it's basically like, a $2,000-$3,000 tournament. Because, a Dawn of Ashes case is worth like $1,500. And God knows how much a jumbo card is worth. He's like, you think the jumbo card is going to be worth anything? I was like, are you out of your goddamn mind? In other games, they're worth a lot. And what I said to him is like, the jumbo cards in Flesh and Blood that they do at every single event, they're at every event and they're like on the prize wall, are like $500-$600 if you want to buy them. And that's every event. Yeah. There's 3 of these things.
Back in the day,
4 maybe. I don't know.
Back in the day for like Yu-Gi-Oh events, they were like $800.
Yeah.
Like the vendor would cleanly just hand you $800. Like
sure.
Obviously they go more, but like all the vendors would be like, oh, $800, here you go. Like no problem.
I'm super curious what they're gonna go for because I don't assume that everyone will keep them because there's 4 of them.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's 20,000. Ascent store tickets to buy it, which is a lot. That is the equivalent of $2,000. Yeah. If you were like buying playmats. So that's super cool. Can't wait to see how that goes. Can't wait to see the big old jumbo cards. They're also doing something that I find very interesting. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about. They're running a co-op PvE event on Sunday as well. Which it's noted as like this is an unofficial experimental tournament. What is it? What is the exact wording on the event description?
Unofficial experimental game mode.
Yeah. So it's unclear to me, and maybe our illustrious production team can key me in here. Is this unofficial as in like somebody volunteered, like some member of the community made a cool rule set and they're like, oh yeah, you should run that on Sunday and we'll make an event for it? Or is this like an unofficial experimental thing made by the developers, which, not that I don't love community efforts, I surely do, but would be way more interesting if the devs are themselves looking at doing some sort of co-op PvE thing.
You know what this sounds like? Do you remember that Commander game mode?
It's like Fight the Hydra, right? Yeah. Like that's what I think of. Yeah, from Magic the Gathering.
Or the other one, what was it? It's the one that had the card deck.
Yeah. That was the Hydra. They did it for Xenagos too, I think, or Garrick.
Yeah.
When Garrick Veil Cursed came out,
it was like one person plays like this ridiculous thing, and then everyone fights them.
Oh, you mean Archenemy?
Archenemy. That's it. Yeah, that's what this reads like to me.
It's unclear, because like Archenemy is the villain is controlled by a player, right? And they've done that recently as well. And then the Hydra thing was the thing that they did at pre-releases, where it was a deck, and you would like flip cards from the top, and it had like sort of rules that it would follow, and you would fight against it. So. I'm curious, I'm curious what the event is about, if this is the devs themselves doing it, but very interesting. Yeah. More ways to play the game is always good.
I definitely enjoy multiplayer formats, coming from like a enjoyer of board games.
Right.
So like I'm always interested in a multiplayer format.
It's really good for the casual crowd, right? Because and the devs have said this a couple of times where people like ask about multiplayer and they're like, well, the rules support multiplayer. And like that's true and that's great. But like it's not the same, you know, like Magic's rules support multiplayer, but Commander is a different format for a reason, right? So I think it would be really cool to have multiplayer, co-op, whatever, like focused stuff for Grand Archive to like sort of drag that casual crowd in. Because I think it's a lot harder for like hyper competitive games like Flesh and Blood, where the whole focus of the game is on competitive play. I think it's really hard to grab the casual crowd, but I think that Grand Archive, with how beautiful the art is and how beautiful the cards are, it's a lot easier to pull people in that are just like interested in the cards and have something cool to do with them, you know, this co-op thing or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, super interesting. I'm excited to hear from the front what's going on.
I'm just excited to see other groups or demographics of card games being represented. Like I said this back in the day when we
were talking about Path of Silver.
When we were talking about Path of Silver, but I think a way to increase the game, right, or increase the community is to offer niche things that other card games don't offer.
Right.
Like the collectability for silver, multiplayer for you know, more casual players. Like I think all of these things are great to have as part of your game to, you know, expand the community and you know, bring in people that normally wouldn't play a game.
Yeah, I think that Ontario, at least from looking at all of the information that we have about it, feels very much like that. There's lots of like, there's a focus on learn to play. There's like a referral program. If you like bring a friend to the learn to play event, you get like tickets and stuff for that. This feels like when we were at Houston, it was such like a community event, right? And it felt sort of like a convention where there was a tournament. But a lot of that was just because it was the first event and none of us had met each other, and we got to like, you know, meet online friends and you know, interact with the community. But as far as like other stuff to go, it was pretty side event light. There was like a couple of sealed events, and I think there was one constructed event, but like, you know, obviously it's their first event. I'm not expecting it to be, you know, crazy, but Ontario seems much more like a scheduled thing that even if you're not playing in Path of Steel, there's like so much for you to do, which is just super cool.
Go and hang out and just like, oh, I'm just gonna enter these side events.
There's like these cool ones that are on the schedule, but also like I think they're running pods all weekend of like constructed pods and sealed pods, you know, like 8-mans and stuff. And it feels so much more like an event, which is so cool. So I'm very, very excited for this event, even though we can't be there, and also of course the events in the future. If this is what Ontario looks like, I cannot even imagine what Worlds is going to look like.
Oh, it's
so
gonna be
excited.
So awesome. It just like reinvigorates that like excitement to want to, you know, go to all these events.
Just be, you know, part of the community and stuff. So yeah, that's Ascent Ontario. They have some cool stuff in the Ascent store, which I see that you're looking at now that we can touch on. And
you're just looking at these nice Arisana maps.
Dude, I thank you to Trevor, who is one of our Lineage Break boys who's out there, and he's going to win the tournament. He was like, if you want me to, you know, pick up the Ari mats for you, I can. I was like, oh, so nice. Because I'm terrified that, like, for some reason, if, like, these are exclusive to Ontario, and then we get to Worlds and they're not there, it'll be over.
Are you getting all 4?
Well, that would be greedy. Yes. No. Eventually, I would like to, provided that they're at multiple events. But if they're only at this event, maybe I'll buy them. They're also
which one?
Level 2 is the correct art. That is the choice. I'm on 2 in pecking order, which is very important. And if you don't agree, you're wrong, because I am the number 1 authority. Is 2 Astral Zenith, 1 Lucent Arbiter. That's my
Lucent Arbiter, really?
Yeah, I don't love the Lucent Arbiter art.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
I do like the Astral Zenith art though. She's got those cones in the Lucent Arbiter art, you know. It's like it's a little off-putting. They're staring right at me, you know. They're also at the Ascent store selling the Parsnet deck box, which is cool.
Yeah. That's very cool.
And that is like a cash purchase thing that you can just like buy with dollars, which is cool.
Interesting.
They're also doing it, I think, as Ascent tickets, but it is an offer as cash because
I might have to reach out to one Trengon.
Yeah.
From Lineage Break.
Oh yeah, Trengon's doing all of my bidding this weekend, and I appreciate it. And then last but not least, something that we want to mention, which is very cool. We finally seen the deck box. That was like last week. Shinja put out like a little teaser video, and it's Tony now.
Hold on.
We're both going to the same place. Yeah.
I just want to say,
Go off,
I love the devs. I love this game. But they're cowards for not making it B.
Yeah. It should have been B for sure.
It should have been B.
Dude, if we can put the Nia EVP art on a deck box, it's not,
Right.
Yeah, it's not like we're being conservative.
Why'd you put a shirt on?
Pop that shirt off.
Right.
Here's what I think they should do. Here is my recommendation to you, the developers. Your champion package and your VIP or whatever, you all get the shirted Tony.
Oh, super VIP?
No. It can't be a paywall. We can't do that. What we can do is top 8 of the event of steel and silver gets an additional deck box, and it's the B variant.
Oh, okay.
How do you feel about that?
I like that. I like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That way we get a little bit of fan service. Not everybody gets it. I know that there are some cowards out there that don't want to open up their deck box and see the 8-pack staring at them.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's not me.
Yeah, it's not me.
I'd be buying that 8-pack deck box for all the money in the world.
Right. I would love a Tony B right now, but
he's actually less expensive than I assumed.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I think he's hovering around like $800,
right?
Which is less than I thought.
I have some stuff I'm trying to move, and if I can move it,
move it for a Tony B.
I'll get a Tony B.
Yeah, we haven't seen one. I've not seen one locally. Like nobody opened one.
No. Lots of 3s though.
Yeah.
Lots of Tony 3s.
Not to flex, but of course, the only B I've seen is mine. Yeah. They seem increasingly rare. She got that pipe. We're not gonna dwell on that. So here's the fun part. So Steven, I'm gonna expose you. You're being exposed to the audience.
Being exposed?
Live on the internet.
Okay.
You've been playing much ALC, Steven? I feel like I haven't seen you in a hot minute. Did you come to locals last week?
I told you I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I wasn't. I was taking the day off because I didn't have to get out of bed for the podcast.
So I would like to talk about how we think, because this is fun for everybody, right, chat? We're going to make ourselves look stupid.
Whoa. So just because I haven't been playing the game doesn't mean I haven't been peeping the Discords.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to make ourselves look stupid, and we're going to talk about how we think Ascent Ontario is going to shake up.
Okay.
If you have any wild predictions you want to throw out there, decks that are going to place well, human beings that are going to place well,
Okay.
We're gonna make ourselves look stupid, and then next week.
So I'll let you look stupid first, because obviously you're gonna say Arisana, and we all know not gonna happen.
All right. Yeah. So here's the deal.
In my testing,
Arisana is bad.
Not great.
Not great. I am not really seeing the light on that one. So
hey, if you can get to turn 12 though, whoo!
I think
it's cool watching you play Solitaire.
It is a very lukewarm take that I don't think there'll be any Aries in top 8. I am hopeful. My hopeful prediction is that there will be one whole Arisana player in the top 32 day 2.
Yeah,
that's my hopeful prediction. There'll be one.
Just some random that dodged all the aggro decks.
There's a couple of people that, again, I'm not going to be naming names if it is information that I know about, that may or may not be playing Arisana, that I hope they are, and, talented players that I hope do well, if that is indeed what they're playing. But she's looking a little tough. I have like 8 Ari decks built right now.
He literally sent a message in one of our group chats, and it was just like, help me, and then took a screenshot of shout at your pets, and it's just Ari decks.
It's all Ari decks. I feel like I've tried every avenue I can think of.
Yeah, it's
none
rough.
of them feel good. So that's my first sad prediction. We have it's a good question. True Champion Caben in the chat.
I see. He
wants to know what we think the best card out of ALC is. I don't. That's
best
tough.
card. Yeah.
Is it, we'll make it harder. We'll do non-champion cards.
It's Academy Guide.
Right. Is it?
I like it.
I don't even know. If
I love Academy Guide.
I'm gonna say my hot take. hot take is that the best card in ALC is Carter, Synthetic Reaper.
Card is sick.
I think that card is absurd. So that's where I'm at. I think that card's very strong. So Steve, how are you feeling? What do you think the meta's looking like? We know all of you, right? So many of our friends and these competitive players on teams, the TCG guys and the Creative Shock guys, and all of that is that I know that they're all like testing in small groups and nobody's sharing their tech. Totally reasonable. Right. And unfortunately, other than the winners, we probably won't get people sharing their tech after this weekend because they'll be holding it for like nationals, right? But I'm sure that everyone out there, even these competitive players and anybody that is not like testing the group, had a lot of eyes on this big TTS tournament that we had last week. Right. And I think that is our like closest gauge, at least of like what a meta looks like for ALC, because there's some like really ALC forward decks that performed well in that event. Mm-hmm. So I know everybody's looking at that, sort of trying to gauge if that's what people are going to be playing. But I don't know if those people were, sandbagging, a Caven for that event was playing Wind Allies. Again, I have no insider information, but I assume he's probably not playing Wind Allies at Ascent Ontario.
I tried it. Yeah. I tried the Tony.
I'm sure
deck.
It's fine.
The deck was all right.
No, I mean he was playing like literally like Houston Wind Allies. Yeah. But so like I assume there's some people that are like sandbagging their deck choice, right? They don't want to spoil what they're playing ahead of time.
Honestly, I think I have 3 decks in mind right now that I think are going to perform well this weekend. I think it is the Water Tony deck. Yeah. I think that deck is very cool.
Performed very well at that event.
Right. I think that deck is very cool. I think that we will definitely see a couple of them in the top. I think that the Wind Diana deck is very sick. It just seemed very hyper aggressive when I was playing into it. And I think that Fire Sander is still going to show up.
Sure.
It might not be the biggest showing because I don't think a lot of people pilot that deck appropriately. And in Houston we only had the one in top 16. But I think those are the 3 decks that I would be looking out for.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable take. I think unfortunately, one of the things that I'm a little bit worried about is I think that Fire Merlin feels still kind of absurd. In a lot of the testing that we've done over the past couple of weeks, that's been one of the like benchmark tests, right? It's like, do you get over this Fire Merlin deck? And a lot of decks fall by the wayside. And this is, mind you, a deck that has literally 0 new cards in it. It's like 100% FTC Fire Merlin, because she just doesn't really get any tools from the new set. She's not like playing Excoriate or whatever. I guess she could. But it feels really strong. So I'm worried about that being sort of like a gatekeeper deck for a lot of like cool new strategies. I can, of course, talk intimately about Arisana, and I think that Fire Merlin is probably what keeps Arisana from getting to play the game. She's just a way better late game deck than you are. Drawing so many cards for free is broken. Ghost of Pendragon is a mistake. I think Crux is fine. Teehee. I was also very impressed with Water Diana, which 6-0'd that tournament last week. So it was obviously like on our table for testing. And that deck feels very strong. Feels very reminiscent of like Water Allies last season. Okay. But gives you more reach, right? Yeah. Like the problem that I had playing Water Allies last season, and eventually the brilliant minds over at TCG sort of fixed by going to Crux and Water Allies, but so you didn't have a lot of reach. And Diana's champion just gives you a lot of reach. You don't need to play Umbra cards to give yourself reach. Just like Diana herself, just so much damage. Right. Just plated bullet, prototype pistol, distance 6 damage is a lot. It's like getting a sudden steal for free, right? Right. So I've been pretty impressed with the Water Diana list. I would not be surprised if Diana is the deck. I'm not sure what the flavor is, what the list looks like, but Diana's tools feel very strong to me. I think she feels the strongest of the three champions from ALC. So I would be expecting to see a lot of Dianas towards the top tables. I would also be expecting to see a lot of Merlins. I liked that Tony deck. I played a decent amount of the Water Tony deck, and it feels pretty good. But then I played the Water Diana deck and felt way better about it. So I'm not sure where Tony's sitting. I think, unfortunately, and I'm sure that almost everyone would agree, we're not making real magma hot takes here. Is that I think it's Diana, Tony, Arisana as far as the set goes, as far as the new heroes go, and it's probably every champion in the game, Sylvie, Arisana, at the bottom of the list is what it feels like to me. I'm sorry, I'm better than Sylvie. I meant Arisana Sylvie is what I meant. Yeah.
Freudian slip there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But I don't know. I think that's correct.
I'm excited to see how it shakes out. I would assume a lot of.
I want to be proven wrong.
Yeah. I always hope that there's some sort of something different that we didn't prepare for, right? Like when we went to Houston, we were all playing Merlin decks, and we were like, "Oh my god, this Spirit Blade Ascension meta is so toxic, and there's going to be 8 Merlin players in the top 8, and then everybody in TCG top 8 with Wind allies, right?"
Yeah.
Like I'm so ready to be wrong. I just think we're at a point in the game where we're big enough, right? Like we've had a couple of big events, the community is growing, we love it, we love you, community. To the point where the strategies we've sort of found them. It's it's not like 1996. We're not going to get the deck, right? We have our allies decks. We have our our big control decks. We have our combo decks, and they all feel like they've been sort of settled out, right? So I'm not seeing whatever the fresh new my mind is blown, right?
Right.
It feels like it turns out the Wind allies deck is pretty good. It's not going to blow my mind like it did in Houston,
I don't know. I have that very nice Fire Tony deck that I've been playing, and I'd like to see someone take that to the next level. Because I'm just playing. It's essentially just Xander without the Arthurs,
right?
Or the Xander,
right? Yeah, a little bit slower, but a little bit more reach, right? A little bit more resilient
right.
than blazing through you a million times.
Correct.
Yeah. So we're very interested to see what people are going to be playing. Here's where we get canceled. We have some big players in the game. Is there anyone in particular that you think is going to? I'm not going to go as far to say win the tournament. I think that's a little bit tough. But we can talk in top 8s, Is there anybody that you have your eye on, Steven, as players to watch for the weekend?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's our boy Limelight. I see him right there in the chat.
That guy.
He's in the top 8.
I would maybe.
Wow.
I don't know. I hear that other bald guy, what's his name? I think he's pretty good too. Gaz. Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to just start calling people out for being bald.
Well, I'm calling Gaz bald because he's bald. No, yeah, we have a lot of faith in our boys at Creative Shock.
Yeah.
Lime, Gaz, Yap. I would be stunned if at least one of them didn't make it. I feel very similarly about the TCG guys. I would be literally blown away if one of Cave and Isaac or Terry didn't make top 8. It would be kind of absurd. But it's the game's so small now, right? That it's all of these accolades is over the past 2 tournaments, right? So who knows? Maybe we get maybe the best player in the world is some person we haven't met yet, right?
Yeah, that could be true.
Showing up to their first event at Ascent Ontario. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the winner of the tournament is going to be Trenton Bollinger. That's that goes without saying.
Yeah.
We are legally obligated to say that Lineage Break will win the event.
Yeah, no, and Trent knows what's at stake here. He knows that he's out if he doesn't come back with the championship.
Yeah, I told him when he got on his flight at, of course, 3 a.m. I said, Trenton, you come back with a trophy or not at all.
And we've said that to him for the last 3 weeks now.
And he keeps coming back. See, Gaz has trained more this week than any other event. I believe in Gaz. I know that Gaz is going to take down this event and get second place to Trenton Bollinger. We can't, we can root for Main Deck Dan to take 9th place, but he is not at the event. Yeah. So, the 9th place is safe. Somebody else gets to have it.
Yeah.
Not Dan doesn't get to claim that one. But yeah, I think that's all, we really have to talk about. But we're very excited to watch coverage, and we'll be watching alongside you guys and rooting for people. I'm very excited to watch Top 8 on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see what other people have been brewing.
Yeah.
Because, I know in our circle, it's been kind of just playing Tony into Ari a lot, or playing into the Tony mirror, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I want to see what other people are coming up with. I want to see what other people are doing.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping we get some innovative stuff. Yeah. And like I said, it's tough because a lot of people are going to be saving their secrets for nationals.
Yeah. Maybe you don't know. Maybe someone is indeed the big brain and found out how to break Arisana.
I hope so. I'm not a deck builder. I'm a terrible deck builder, right? So I'm hoping that somebody has figured it out. Silidar once said that there's too many refiners and not enough innovators or something like that, and that's me. I can't innovate. My brain's not big enough. I wouldn't have discovered playing starter deck Lorraine like Lime did in DOA. But I'm hoping that somebody broke Ari. Shout out to Byfall has been posting his lists pretty openly in the Discord, which is super cool of him because he's obviously a very talented player. And so I've been looking at what he's been cooking up, and there's a couple of people that again I won't name by name that I know are hiding some secrets that maybe Ari is good, but I always feel like it's copium. I feel like everybody's trying to mislead you. It's like, oh, Arisana's sick. Wait till you see my deck, and it's just absolutely a pile.
It worked in goldfishing and that's it.
Right. Yeah, if this deck blows out exactly one deck and then loses to literally everything else, right? But yeah, we're very excited. We hope it's a nice eventful Top 8. We will be back next week talking about the event in more details, talking about the decks and the eventual winner. We will try next week to have Trent on the show, I think, as he will be back from the event, and we can have him on the show to talk about his experience winning the tournament and show us the trophy and all of that stuff. But I think other than that, that's all we got for you guys this week. Thank you, of course, for watching. A reminder for everybody watching now and watching later, we are live right now with a studio audience in that chat is in front of us. We do record the show live every Friday at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time. Asterisk. And you will find the VOD of this episode the following Friday on the YouTubes at 2 p.m. EST. So we will see you next week. Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Woo!